If I'm jaded and bitter, it's because this industry has taken away my dreams. The world has beaten me. Now remember what Mike said from Attack on Titan. You haven't been beaten unless you give up. So don't give up. And the world hasn't beaten you. That's how this works. Finding my way by the feeble light of the dying fire, I saw her working. A large needle moved in her hand, following precise, esoteric patterns. Knots and loops of seamstress craft from ancient days. Beneath her needle, his body clenched and shuddered, shaking the wooden table. A morbid fascination pushed me closer, until she turned her blank face toward me, resting the needle in his flesh. With her fine tone, she addressed me. So you are the lover, I presume. You too have been unfaithful. And now it's your turn to be mended. Sorry, what's going on? That was unsettling. Lord Nathan Bale, I think, shaking with outrage. How dare you, sir? Cloth sew in my very home. I should hand you over to the watch, depraved Tibian. Prince Calasar, moving closer. That's a harsh welcome for royalty, my lord. Your daughter treated me with much more hospitality. Alas, she has gone out for the evening, leaving me all alone. Lord Nathan Bale stammering, studying the younger man before him. What are you doing? Leave this house. Go back to your frozen wasteland, pale rascal. Rascal? That's the best you can do? No need for an anger between us, Lord Bale. Is it so wrong for me to be here? As I've proven, I've developed an affinity for you and your family. Oh my, Calasar, your skin is so warm it burns. Wait, what? Has he turned on now? I guess the prince gets around. This game has some weird books. I just noticed.
Attention,
I've never read those books before, so...
This is your room. It was chosen to give you privacy. I understand you'll need your rest.
This is a nice room, too. I've always liked stuff like this, having some small room to sleep in during a time of crisis. I think that's all the coin I can get. It's all the coin I can find. Hopefully I can dream of open seas and Jessamine sitting in the garden. Or I could dream about the room that I just fell asleep in. What kind of dream is this? This is BS. What? Okay, well you get a point for being cool.
Hello, Corvo.
Hi!
Your
Who are
life
you?
has taken a turn, has it not?
You could say
The
that.
Empress is dead. Her precious daughter Emily is lost somewhere in the city, and you will play a pivotal role in the days to come. For this, I have chosen you and drawn you into the void. I am the outsider, and this is my mark. There are forces
What?
in the world and beyond the world, great forces that men call magic. And now, these forces will serve your will. Use this newfound power, my gift to you. Come find me.
I already did. You're right there. I mean, you're not anymore, but you were. You cannot save her, 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 you cannot save her. Yes, I can! Don't try to tell me what I can and can't do. You freaking jerk. Corvo, I'm very sad. They say you're dead like Mother. But I'm going to put this note in a bottle and throw it in the river because I don't believe them. Living here is very strange. I don't like it. Please come for me if you can. Oh, don't you worry, sweetie. I'm gonna go find you and then kill the people who took you away. They are so dead? You're so dead? I don't know who those guys are over there, but they're dead too. Oh. Ah!
Trials will be great, Corvo.
That sounds bad.
Seek the ancient runes bearing my mark in the lonely places of your world, and at shrines raised in my name. These runes will grant you powers beyond those of other men. To help you find these runes, I give you this, the heart of a living thing, molded by my hands. With this heart, you will hear many secrets, and it will guide you toward my runes, no matter how they may be hidden. Listen to the heart now, and find another rune.
This place is the end of all things.
This is the place at the end of all things?
All of time is meaningless here.
All of time is meaningless here, neither seconds nor
Nor
centuries?
centuries.
Well, that's a bit pessimistic. Then again, so was Bloodborne. It also had a thing going on with the cosmos.
Someday this place
will devour all the lights in the sky.
The one who walks here is
The one who walks here is all things. Cradles songs of comfort and bones gnawed by teeth.
This is
the place from which those who dabble in the black arts draw their power. And this place is their doom.
I
I can feel a great age ending.
This
This place is the end of all things and the beginning.
and the beginning.
Does this mean I win?
How you use what I have given you falls upon you, as it has to the others before you. And now I return you to your world, but know that I will be watching with great interest.
Where the hell does this gold come from? And runes? Oh, these are bone charms. Providing supernatural benefits. Small ones. Of course I'll tell you, dearie. I won't keep any secrets from you in the end. All the dreary days of my life are like the windows of a house. From the kitchen I can see out into the garden, where the leaves and stalks are brown and bug-eaten. You can see a little lump of dirt where something was wrapped in a blanket and laid to rest along the rows of twisting vines. The front room looks out into the street, where the neighbors are all setting fire to their homes, barricading themselves inside. Warm and snug, dearie. Don't forget about the bedroom either. It sees into a dreary alley, where hooligans are playing a game with an old man. The first two are hitting him with sticks, and the girl with them is kicking at his dry old ribs. Oh, to have those bones, to boil them in a pot. No one lives in my house anymore, dearie. No one you'd want to meet. When I lived there with my husband, we were fine people. Vera Moray, everyone would say. Your house is as grand as Boyle Manor. Better even. Your dinners are lavish and your parties are the best. When that young Sokolov came to paint my portrait, I was nearly still in my prime. Radiant, he said. And he was just barely a man, so young, painting all the best people across the land. Everyone wanted a portrait by his hand, all my friends. I was the only one, dearie, wet with his paint, glistening on the canvas for a pretty coin. But it wasn't all parties and paintings. My husband and I weren't always at home, no. We traveled together, he and I, to the far ends of the Isles, beyond even, all the way to the red cliffs of Pandyssia, to dig in the rock and crawl through the caves, holding up candles and squinting at the walls. Many precious things we came upon, but none so precious as the boy with the black eyes, dearie. All those marks and bones carved so deep and polished so bright. I brought the old bones home, hid them from my dear husband. Then I learned to boil them in carved them myself. They made such good presents, dearie. The little mute boy took them home. He loved them so. All the time, he came back with new bones for me, holding them up so I could see it in his eyes, even though his tongue was still. Granny, his eyes would say to me, "Carve these bones for me. Make me another present." And he went so far, all the way to Dunwall Tower, the royal headsman himself now, my little mute boy in his shining sword. Better bones were what I needed, you see? Better bones to carve and polish, scrape and gleam. My dear old husband was always tired. I made him soup, and then he was sick. Better bones was all. For my little mute boy carved in the name of the one with black eyes, and after my husband was gone, given away as birthday gifts, I didn't want to live there anymore. So now I'm old and don't have many to give my presents to. It's sifting through the garbage for granny rags and feeding the little birdies that gather at my feet. No one wants to have tea, dearie, especially those rude louts on Bottle Street. Slackjaw and his boys, always meddling with an old woman just trying to make her way. In the end, we'll all be together with him, you and me in the dreary night, with stars above and below, and always the one with the black eyes, dearie. So Granny Rags' real name is Vera Moray, I think. That's my headcanon. Early life and criminal records, Slackjaw. Granny Rags was talking about him just 2 seconds ago. You want the chin wag on Slackjaw? What he was like when he was young, before he got his name? Oh, he got a cool head now, but it weren't always like that in the days before he was the boss of Bottle Street Gang. Time was, young Slackjaw wasn't such a reasonable man. Like most of us, he grew up on the streets, running with a pack of ragamuffins and avoiding the law, pinching whatever he needed. Dark-haired, dark-eyed, smoking a pipe by the age of 10. For them, born into the brothels, or coming from the orphanages, it was either the gangs, the walking with the mudlarks, and no one wants that. Some got pressed in the Navy, or put down in the mines, running by the Pendleton or Boyle families. As hot as it was in the streets, as hungry as all we got, at least we got was free. By the time we weren't little onions anymore, Slackjaw was the one to watch, usually calling the shots. When we took down a farmer's cart, a sidewalk, street vendor, he'd come up with a plan, give everyone some part of the play, and decide on the split. Most of us went along, because we learned fast. We made out for better like that. More food, more coin. Plus, none of us wanted to deal with Slackjaw when he was in a rage. We worked on a couple of big jobs with Big Sally across town, and that was enough to get the attention of other bosses. He wasn't just a street kid anymore. Now he was an up-and-comer, which meant trouble. Another guy who fancied himself as much as Mike the Fish was working his way up, running the protection racket among the factory women. One fine evening, we were all taken in a bawdy show in the theater house. Mike the Fish and his lot are all there, cheap sheets too. Just down the aisle from us, Mike gets a wild idea. He wasn't big on planning, and threw a heavy ceramic spitting at Slackjaw. Hits him square in the face, breaks his jaw. We look to see if there's gonna be any blood brawl, but Slackjaw just points at the door and we all leave, with Mike laughing at our backs. Waking up the next day, without telling us why, Slackjaw motions for us all to follow. He still can't say a word, so we just come along. We stop at the docks, and Slackjaw buys, actually pays coin for it. Heavy chain covered in hooks. It's for fishing in the deep. Something you'd attach to a long line of the side of a ship. It's about 4 feet, made of thick links. And there's shark hooks coming off it, different angles. Slackjaw's got that thing wrapped around his left arm, dangling on his side. Not sure if he knew where Mike the fish was staying, but when we reached this girl's house, Slackjaw throws a bottle through the window just like that. It's almost noon. There's a bunch of screaming inside, and Mike pokes his head out, looking wide-eyed and baffled. When he sees Slackjaw out of the streets, the look comes over his face that still gives me the willies. Pure murder. Mike comes out the other side door, bellowing like a blood ox, holding a cleaver, heading straight for Slackjaw. When they come together in the street, Slackjaw spins and shark hooks bite deep into Mike's arm and shoulder. He screams, but Slackjaw holds onto the chain. He's standing there with his jaw broken, clenched tight, with the chain wrapped around his left arm, hooks sunk deep into Mike the fish, just knifing him as fast as he can. Mike couldn't fight very well. Hooks like that, using his left hand, but he was a big guy, and it took a lot of stabbing before he went to his knees. Everyone was cheering at first, but then we all went quiet. It just kept going and going, until finally it was Mike the fish blubbering, crying like a baby, and the sound of Slackjaw's knife. When it was over, there was a brilliant part. Slackjaw took out the note and stuck to Mike's face with a nail. It just said, "If you want a job, come to Battle Street." Slackjaw didn't talk right for a couple months, but word spread fast. By the end of the year, once we had a sizable gang going, he sent out letters at the other bosses telling them that he was running a brand new crew over on Battle Street. Most of them laughed or beat up the guys who delivered the letters. Green-eyed Trish even came back missing a thumb. But apparently Slackjaw was expecting that kind of reaction and had a backup plan. A week later, 4 of the bosses were dead. It seemed like a series of unfortunate events, but everyone knew better. One shot dead by the watch while standing in the middle of a meat market. Another slipping and falling in the water, out cold. One of the older bosses found in a bed with his belly opened up, and a Tivian pear stuffed in his mouth. Still not sure what that meant. And Sheila Barnsworth was found blubbing in a cauldron of hot wax. Slackjaw sent out another set of letters, offers to the underbosses, telling them they better be treated fair as peers. He even sent Green-eyed Trish with one of the letters. All of the underbosses accepted. After spilling the guts of his main competition, Slackjaw went in for stabilizing his business, real neat-like, calling in favors, smoothing things over, giving everyone a little bit of a coin or drink as a bonus, showing what he could be like as a boss. So everything got quiet, which always makes the boys of the city watch nervous, of course. Word went out among the Royal Spymaster's snitches. Nobody likes a snitch. The Responsible Citizens group, they called themselves, telling everyone working in a shop or sweeping off the front steps of their homes to keep a watchful eyes for Slackjaw and his men, trying to suss out what they were up to and what had just happened. But Slackjaw ain't stupid. He greased a few palms among the shopkeepers and the watch too, telling them that he was in town to stay and that things would be properly from now on. Without so much blood. He was finally a real boss, ready to settle into the business of moving whiskey, running the hounds fight, and offering the ladies and gentlemen of the night, if you take my meaning. Then the plague came. At first it seemed like a good thing. A few people got sick, and everyone wanted to stay and buy those potions. 4 from Slackjaw or Piero. Health elixir, or spiritual remedy they call them. Slackjaw told me he saw an opportunity. We were already had an old whiskey factory with a still, where we could water the stuff down and sell them at a discount. Doing the same thing with Sokolov's elixir was a smart plan. Pretty soon, everybody in the slums was sick, and business was good. But after a while, there were so many people with plague that everyone got scared. Everyone started acting real nasty, and everything fell apart. When people can't work, they don't have the coin for elixir, watered down or pure. When the Empress died, it seemed like Dunwall would slide into the void. Spymaster Burroughs took over the Watch, and the Watch started using all that new Sokolov technology. Watchtowers, tall boys, them arc pylons. They put that wall of light across Clavering Boulevard and cracked down hard. But Slackjaw surprised us again. Instead of leaving town and boat bound for Morley or one of the other isles, he stayed and kept it all together. We got as much elixir to fight off the plague as the City Watch, with their taxes and rations, and that's kept us alive so far. Crowley, Bottle Street Gang. Oh, Crowley, you have such a way with words. I was trying to do a Boston accent for a little bit, but then I just couldn't keep it up. For over a year now, I have lived away from the Abbey, without the company of my overseer brethren, or the guidance of the blind sisters of the oracular order. Days have passed with me, sleeping in the dens of cut purses, murderers, and worse, and the nights have seen me prowling through the worst alleys and wretched corners of Dunwall. I've taken my meals with killers. At times I ventured beyond the city walls, meeting in forgotten graveyards and the outlying ruins frequented by those of ill means. My beard has grown long, and I wear the weathered clothing and bits of boiled leather favored by the Bottle Street and Hatter gangs, and by those rough men and women who make their trade knifing others in return for coin. My hands have run red with blood, it's true, but I have selected my targets with care, choosing among those criminals and heretics who are not fit to live, executing them justly and using their deaths as a means of building my reputation. Are you sure they deserve to die, though? Or is it just your opinion? So far, this trick has allowed me to make my name among a murderous colleagues without taking the lives of the innocent. Again, are you sure, though? My goal is singular. I must impress the assassin named Dowd in order to get too close to him. Of all the practitioners of black magic we have tracked, none concern the Abbey as much as Dowd. It is said that his mother was a witch from one of the archipelagos off the Pendician coast, taken captive by pirates venturing far from the Isles. According to the legend, by the time the ship returned, the captain was dead and the witch controlled the crew, with Dowd still a shadow in her belly. That's hardcore. Earliest stories tell of a young gang killer without mercy, moving among the shopkeepers and city watch officers of Dunwall, like a reaper through wheat. Then a period of silence followed. Years we now believe he spent traveling the Isles, studying anatomy and the occult in the great halls of learning and hidden basements frequented by fellow dabblers of the forbidden arts. Dowd is even purported to have spent a winter in the Academy of Natural Philosophy itself. And for a time, before schisms developed, he counted the Brigamore witches among his allies. All the while, he honed his craft, and it is during this time that we believe he began to consort with the outsider. New reports emerged of a dusky-skinned assassin, paid by the elite to eliminate their rivals in Dunwall, and in the other major cities across the Isles. Those who saw him and lived numbered in the handful, but all of them reported something strange. He appeared and vanished like smoke. From a nearby rooftop he gestured, and a noblewoman stumbled from her balcony, falling to her doom on the cobblestones below. Most recently, as this new threat of plague has risen in Dunwall, Dowd has been seen leading a gang of men in dark leather, dressed as factory whalers in their vapor masks. They seem loyal beyond comprehension for one so unworthy, leading me to wonder if some of his magic is dedicated to lulling their minds, enslaving them. Only a month ago, one young girl claims to have come across a strange scene. Carrying a bottle of milk home to her crippled brother, she was taking a shortcut through the tailor's district. In a narrow street, she passed beneath a window and heard unusual sounds from within. Pushing aside the ready curtain, the girl saw into an abandoned apartment, used by miscreants for gambling and trading haberweed. An occult shrine had been erected against the far wall, which she recognized from teachings given by her local overseer. A man she described as resembling Dad was kneeling before the shrine, muttering to an unseen spirit as if in an argument. He took a carving made of pale bone from the altar before him, and the lights all went out in a gush of unclean wind. Quiet as a field mouse, she slipped away, running until she reached her home. There can be no doubt Dowd is an agent of the outsider and must die, for there is no limit to the evil this man might do. This is my solemn oath, and the great purpose of my life, until Dowd is dead and his corruption has been purged from the world. I will continue to move among the depraved, winding my way toward him. I will not drop my guise or don my overseer mask again until Dowd breathes no more. It's weird how this is worded near the end. I think it means to say until Dowd is a dead man, but it doesn't say that. So, just one of those small things that didn't go through the editing process, I guess. It was overlooked. Field survey notes, the Royal Spy. This is the 4th day, month of high cold. So, February. Progress continues in the suppression of gang activity in the distillery district, but more slowly than I expected. The ruffians operated there must have been cunning. I'll grant them that, but it's only a matter of time. I'll see their leaders flogged in public and sent beneath the royal executioner's blade. If I had my way, that mute master would be working night and day, removing the heads that need removing. Internally, the Empress does not seem pleased with my investigations. It seems that it is beyond her thinking, against her very nature as a trusting person, to believe the traitors move among us, but I know they do. They must. No, Jessamine would rather spend her time with the Royal Protector. At least he's likely to stop any immediate threat to her safety, but a strong arm is not what's needed against those who would undermine us. How will Corvo's sword stop a poisoned wine glass, or an explosive delivered by courier? It won't. There are many threats around us. Threats requiring meticulous efforts to police. Young Lady Emily is undisciplined, I'm afraid. Here within Dunwall Tower, she receives instruction from the finest tutors known in the Isles, yet her mother spoils her and spends most of her time lost in imagination, wasting her time drawing or asking Corvo to teach her to fight with wooden sticks. Come on, man. Emily is a kid, right? What is she, 10 years old? Let her be 10 years old, even if she is the princess, or whatever you call the daughter of an empress. The girl might rule the empire someday. Every moment spent at play is a moment wasted. Shut up! Shut up! Screw you! Shoring up security for the main gate leading to Dunwall Tower has been another pet project of late. To think that back in the day, Emperor Caldwin left it open to the public during the day, allowing anyone to come and go as they pleased. If it were up to me, I'd seal off access to the streets entirely. But the Empress won't hear of it. The waterlock is much easier to protect, and if it were the only way into the tower, traffic in and out would be greatly reduced. Someday, the wrong person is going to slip in and will suffer for it, mark my words. No amount of security is excessive when it comes to protecting the heads of state. The Empress also disapproves of my plans for the Sokolov devices. Sokolov himself has no interest in security, of course, but he's vain and therefore keen to see his inventions displayed in any fashion. This wall of light he's been tinkering with has promise, In any case, at least I was able to convince the Empress to upgrade the pistols carried by the officers of the Watch. Why do I worry so when no one else seems to care? If I ever fall asleep, will it all sink into the ocean? With the rough things clamber over the walls and will fill themselves over flesh. This is what I see in the same dream several times each month. If only I had more say in things. More authority, I could protect us all. Perhaps I've been working too hard. Dinner and an evening of conversation with a certain lady of refinement might be in order. Perhaps somewhere nice in the estate district. Hiram Burroughs, Royal Spymaster.
Oh, so then I should have been reading it like this. Why do I worry so when no one else seems to care? Meh.
That's what you sound like. You sound like a goblin. So now I've found myself a bunch of other men.
If you like, but he won't use it.
Why?
He can't sleep in regular beds anymore, or that's what he says. Says he was in the Navy too long. Can you believe it?
Oh,
That pile of wood out there? It's a hovel he built from an old rowboat. Where does Admiral Havelock find these people, I wonder?
As long as you aren't making fun of them, I'll allow it.
I had a sailor for a boyfriend once. He thought he'd strike gold digging in the Pandician cliffs. They found his ship drifting empty.
Well, that's concerning. But you don't seem concerned about it at all. Good for you?
You know, I tried to attend services with the overseers for a while. They've just gotten more and more, I don't know, rabid about the seven strictures and witchcraft and all that nonsense.
Well, you know,
The
there's those
Admiral's
folk.
distinguished, don't you? Everyone I know cried the day we heard the news about the Empress. Poor woman. And her little daughter lost. From what I understand, it just killed the Admiral to be cast out from the Navy. That was his life, before the Lord Regent came along. Someone came and banged on the door a few nights ago. I thought Lord Pendleton would piss himself. Oh, begging your pardon.
It's fine.
To think what I spend smuggling in wine for his lordship. That Wallace can cook, yes. But the way he talks to us, you'd think he was a lord himself. I'd work for you for
I don't
a
think I
year
care
for
for that.
free if you managed to get that Lord Regent off the throne. None of the shops are open, all the business has dried up, and most people can't even walk the streets. That man's a blight on the city.
Believe you me, I will take care of it.
Good day, Master Corvo.
How are you today?
Lydia and I trade chores sometimes, and I'm starting to think I never come out ahead. She's a smart one. I hope the attic's to your liking. I've slept there myself on summer nights.
It's good, I like it.
I went and knocked on the front door a few nights ago for a joke. No one thought it was funny.
Sorry to hear that.
My sister lost a tooth last month, fighting off some officer from the City Watch. The sooner the Lord Regent is gone, the better, I say.
Yeah, we don't need anybody losing teeth.
Just you wait. I'll own this place one day. I've dreamed it.
Okay, I'm not gonna kill anybody anymore. Because I think if I do, then bad things are gonna happen to her. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. A Gaffer's Tale, Volume 1. Or Gaffer's Early Adventures. So this is the prequel. Or, you know, the book that I should have read first. My sister, Nina, and I left Tivia together, saying goodbye to our aunt, the woman who had raised us since childhood, leaving behind our home city of Yarrow and the cold but beautiful white landscapes we'd always known. We boarded a ship for Dunwall. Our parents had left us with a sizable inheritance, and we spent half of this getting to the capital city and establishing a small import shop dedicated to Tivian furs. That sounds nice. It might have always seemed kind of flamboyant to me, but I would buy your fur coats. Why not? Once I'd helped Nina establish the business, I was free to pursue my dream. Signing on with a whaling ship was the most exciting thing I've ever done, and I saw it as a means to an end. Someday, I would captain my own crew, and eventually own a fleet of similar vessels. With tears in her eyes, Nina kissed me farewell. and I did not see her again for many months. As an apprentice to the gaffer, I got to see the tracking and killing of the great beasts up close. Nothing had ever fired my spirits so, as the wind and pounding waves racing after a wounded whale, being pulled up by a skein of cables embedded into its thick flesh. I changed more in those first 7 months than I had in the previous 7 years. Whaling was beginning to put its mark on me, so that Nina barely recognized me when I returned. Tanned and sinewy with muscle, weather creases already wrinkling the corners of my eyes, but she could see that I was filled with joy, having found my purpose. Yes, well, unfortunately we know how your story ends. That's my bad. Would have been nice if I had just read that first, and then we never read anything else again. Excerpt from a book of naval history. Admiralty and the fleet. I don't know all the words. I didn't learn how to pronounce all of them. While each of the isles has some form of naval fleet, none is more envied than that of Bristol, with its long, proud history of great ships and the admirals who command them. Boys come to the age in the cities of Bristol hoping to someday captain such a ship, and family dynasties are made by those captains who track down infamous pirates or crush seditious uprisings, as during the Morley insurrection. When did that happen? In times of war and peace, Bristol continues to innovate at sea. The ship designs of Anton Sokolov himself now represent the highest standard in the whaling trade, allowing crews to haul their kill up over the deck and begin their butchery and processing, even as the ship returns to Dunwall. The crews can be seen working at their latest whale as the ship moves slowly up the Ribbenhaven River, coming to dock with one of the most powerful whalehouse companies such as the Grease Whaling House, suspended in the rigging overhead and backlit by the setting sun. The silhouette of these creatures makes for a moving sight as it cruises to its final resting place in the industrial heart of the capital city. That's another great thing about this game, is just the names. All of these names sound like they could exist.
Corvo seems to have arrived in good shape. Much better than I expected, given what I've seen of Coleridge Prison. He seems willing to work with us, and he shouldn't lack for motivation. The man has lost everything. We'll judge how he performs in the field, and if I can, I'll find a way to test him personally.
And how would you plan on doing that? Just curious. It's been days since our men were dispatched to stash weapons for Corvo and the sewer. They haven't returned, so I can only hope that they succeeded in getting the packages delivered. Piero spent considerable time and resources making those things. If I could find a way to mass-produce them, the Dunwall Navy would secure its place as the dominant force on the globe. But back to Corvo. Can he actually break out of Coleridge? And if so, will he make his way here? I personally give him odds of 1 in 5. Thanks for that. Litany on the White Cliff? Did I read this already? And I say to you, brothers, it is here that we make our stand as a righteous force against the growing darkness. It is here that we unite against the spirits of the unknown that would drag us screaming into the night, never to return to our homes, to our families. Together we will serve as a rod to those who would stray from the herd, for the foggy gray wastes of the outsider. We will burn a bright fire with our virtuous actions, so that others will not lose their way, and to those who choose to wander beyond the walls of our homes, in far places we will strike at them swiftly, before they whisper to their neighbors, filling their hearts with strangeness and doubt. I know I gotta commit to one playthrough or another, so I'm gonna do that right now. I'm committing to non-lethal.
Well, let's get down to it. First off, I know that assassination is dark business, but sometimes good men have to do bad things to make the world right. Our purpose is clear. We want to restore Her Majesty's line by finding and putting Emily Cauldron on the throne. To those ends, we'll hide, act in shadow, take them apart, piece by piece. Tonight, High Overseer Campbell dies by your hand. It won't be easy. He's protected by his overseers, an army of religious zealots. But if anyone can do it, you can. Your exploits are legendary. Campbell carries a private journal. Once you've eliminated him, get the journal, because we think it contains Emily's location. Recovering her is obviously critical, assuming she's alive. That's the gist of it. Remember our cause and strike true. We're counting on it. Another thing. Campbell is holding a former overseer by the name of Martin. He's one of us, and if you manage to find him, give him whatever help you can. He's a master strategist, and he got caught working for our cause. It'd be good to have him back here at the Hellpits.
You got it. Funny story. First time I played this game, I had no idea who Martin was. I wasn't paying attention, so as soon as I found him, I took him out. Non-lethally, if I remember correctly, but I took that guy out.
Corvo. Hello. I'm Callista. I work here for Admiral Havelock.
You're Lena
I'm
Headey.
sorry to intrude on your business, but this is important. I suspect you're going to kill the High Overseer. That wretched man. There's really no reason for you to listen to me. But my uncle, Jeff Kernow, still serves as captain in the City Watch. But he's a good man, and my only family. The chatter in servant circles is that Campbell just took delivery of an exotic poison. And I think I know why. My uncle's not corruptible like the rest of them. Campbell is going to poison my uncle. Do you think you could protect him?
Yeah.
You used to do that, right? Before you had your current profession. Before you became an assassin.
Your uncle is as good as
I
alive.
overheard the Admiral at breakfast, talking about the Overseers. That's all I heard. And I think it's better if I don't know too much about what you people are doing.
Maybe. So that's all she has to say. Come on, Lydia, that's bad for you. You do gotta give the game credit. Just because I decided to talk to Celia, I decided that I was gonna change my pattern of gameplay. Because I care. I care about her, despite her not having so much screen time. Oddly enough, in this game, you can hold up to 10 sleeping bolts, but in Dishonored 2, you can only hold up to 5. What's up with that?
Does part of the soul live in the heart? If the heart keeps beating, does that mean that the spirit is never released into oblivion? I can keep a heart beating forever with electricity, but what does that mean for any essence trapped within? It'd be easier if I created these processes in waking hours. I am uneasy pursuing avenues that emanate from my dreaming mind.
I don't think it would make sense that the spirit is located in the heart. I'm pretty sure the spirit is a separate part of the physical being.
Glad to see you got your rest, Corvo. You'll need it. Say, that's an interesting tattoo on your hand. Saw a lot of that in the Navy, but nothing quite like yours. Keep your eye out for Martin. I need him back here if we're going to pull this off. High Overseer Campbell tricked and bullied his way into power. The man is completely corrupt.
Welcome to religion.
The City Watch and the Overseers can't stand each other. The military doesn't mix well with a bunch of religious fanatics. You might be able to use that. Nervous? I would be.
No.
Tonight is the beginning of a new life for you. But you're killing for a just endeavor. Remember that. High Overseer Campbell is a bastard, and we've got to find Emily. The Overseers are a strange bunch, completely obsessed with the 7 strictures and hunting down heresy. I don't know if I believe in all that witchcraft bunk, but I saw some odd things at sea.
Would you describe it as witchcrafty? I don't believe in witchcraft. It's all bullshit.
Ready to go? Just give the signal.
Let's do this.